Right, okay guys, welcome to They Did What. Now, if you're new to my channel, They Did What feature is basically where I take a look at a software company. You know, back in the day, I take a look at their games, play some games, and just talk. That's basically it. It's been a while since I did one of these, so I've picked a software company which means quite a lot to me. It's Alligata Software. The reason I say it means quite a lot is because when I first got my C64, a lot of the games that I played back then were Alligator. They were made by that company. The company itself, it was based in Sheffield, and it was founded, I'm just looking at Wikipedia here, it was founded by brothers Mike and Tim Mahoney and their father J.R. Mahoney in 1983. They produced games for a lot of home computers, including the Commodore 64, BBC Micro, Electron, Spectrum, and also Dragon 32. When I think of Alligata Software, I always think of Tony Crowther. He became one of the most famous programmers back in the day. He put out quite a lot of games, which you'll see shortly. So anyway, that's kind of it. I'm just going to stop talking. I'm going to let you enjoy some of the music. All the music that you're listening to just now was music that was in some of the games, and you're going to see some artwork, some cassette inlays and adverts and that as well. So I'll see you back in a wee bit. Right, kicking off this video, the very first game I'm going to look at, these are in no particular order, just randomly picked. This is Killer Watt, released in 1984, programmed by Tony Crowther. I had a copy of this and I used to love playing this game. The idea of the game, I believe, is to shoot, it's quite an abstract game. I mean, it looks kind of similar to Scramble. The scrolling I always thought was really impressive, and the music as well. The idea of the game is to basically shoot light bulbs.
you've got to avoid what looks like ghosts that come out of little boxes, and they also drop little, I don't know, little kind of mines, whatever they're called. And you'll see there, well, I did kill it, although I've just been killed. There's little pools of water with whales. It's a really, yeah, it's a jumping whale. It is a very, very odd game. I would love to know what the basis for this was. You can see there, A. Crowder was here. I mean, back then there was a lot of the programmers put their own sort of stamp on the game, but I loved this game. Never got particularly far. It was quite a difficult game, but technically I thought it was excellent. Very, very precise movement. Always loved the music to this as well. I think Tony Crowder did the music himself for this one. A lot of the music on the early games was all music that was no longer in copyright, so you had a lot of classical pieces, which this is one. Fred lives here. Although the music itself is fairly simplistic, I think it's really effective. I think this was only released in the Commodore 64. I don't think there's any other versions at all. So that is Killer What. Right, next up, this is an interesting one. This is Knockout, again on the Commodore 64. I can always remember seeing the advert for this. I can always remember seeing a review of the game. I don't think it reviewed particularly well. And I always thought the graphics looked amazing, and I never ever, until now, this is the very, very first time I've actually played the game. I always thought it looked really impressive. It looks like I've just been knocked out. You can't see me skip this, let's go for one more shot. It always annoyed me about games like that, when you get something like that where you just can't physically skip it. Right, let's try it once more. Yeah, graphically it's excellent. Though I've got to say it's very, very, very simplistic. It's not a patch on Barry McGuigan's boxing, which to my mind is probably the best boxing game. What other games was there? There was Fight Night, which had amazing graphics, but I always think Barry McGuigan's boxing was an excellent game. So that is Knockout. Again, that's on the C64. Next one, this is called Livingstone, I presume. This is on the ZX Spectrum. Never ever seen this before. How do I jump? Now I know I get a lot of criticism, you know, by people for not reading instructions, and you know, I can't always play games properly, I don't know the controls, but I don't have the time to read instructions. When you're making a video that contains something like 20 or 30 games, I've not got the time to sit and read instructions. I mean, most 8-bit games were fairly simplistic, you know, you should be able just to press the fire button and away you go. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out how I jump. Kind of feels a wee bit like Bugaboo the Flea. You've got power. A bit of an odd game mechanic. And it looks like we might never actually get off this screen. Hey! Aye, I've got no idea of the game. I'm assuming you're some sort of explorer, given the title of the game. Don't know what I need to do. Quite nice graphics, and it looks a whole heap of fun if you actually took time to learn the controls. Oops, am I dead? I think I am. Yeah, that's Livingstone, I presume. and that is on the Spectrum. Next up is one of the very, very early games that I played in the C64, and I loved this game to bits. I wasn't really a big fan of the game, but the music by Ben Dalglish, I would load this game just to listen to the music. It's quite a difficult game. It's based on, what's it called? It's based on an arcade game. I can't remember for the life of me what it's called. Now the game mechanics of this is, if you hold the fire button, if you press the fire button, you shoot smoke up through the chimney, and you use that to take out airborne enemies. The longer you hold the fire button down, the further up, the higher the smoke goes, so you've got to kind of judge it and then let go of the fire button. Pressing to the right fires, and you'll see there on the little radar down below, you've got fuel to pick up. You've also got little enemies that are coming towards you as well. And also pressing up and down moves you up and down the sort of railway track, so you want to try and manoeuvre yourself over fuel. Got to say, I'm actually doing really well here. I don't think I was this good back in the day. I couldn't really figure out how to play it properly. But yeah, you take away the music in this game and it wouldn't be a game that I would play particularly, but the music's excellent. Also based on, is it Oxygen, I think it is? The Jean-Michel Jarre. Incidentally, I saw in concert about 2 years ago. Always been a massive Jean-Michel Jarre fan, and it was a great privilege to actually see the man in concert. He didn't disappoint. Oh, this must be the end of the level, I think. That's a great game, still love it. That is Loco. Right, next up, this is called Meltdown. This is on the Amstrad. I always like to try and show as many systems as possible when I'm making these videos, because although I was a C64 man, you know, companies did release games for other systems, and it's, you know, to try and make it interesting for everybody, try and use as many. I never show you the same game on different systems, you know, I'll just use one system for one particular game. But this one does look very Amstrad. Nice colour palette. You need to bear in mind as well that this is the first time I have played most of these games, so I'm just kind of finding my way. Technically quite impressive actually. This is something that probably the C64 could do, but back in the day programmers didn't really know how to. I mean, since in the last few years there's been some really good, well, there was a version of Night Lord that was released on the C64 and it's cracking, and that was a game that people never thought was possible. And it's game over. So that is Meltdown. That's on Amstrad. Next up is Panic Planet. Now this was one of the earliest video game types that I ever saw. Is it based on Panic, which I think was an arcade game. Never ever played the arcade. If it was an arcade game, I've never played it. Never played it in MAME. I might have to have a look at it. Certainly never seen an actual cab of it at all, but it's fairly simplistic. You run about and you dig holes for these killer tomatoes. I don't know what they're supposed to be. You dig a hole, now they fall in. Now I'm not sure, how do you actually kill them? I think they do climb back out the hole. Kind of feels a wee bit like Load Runner. Right, evidently you can't kill them with smacking them with the spades, right? I'm really not sure how to kill them.
Yikes. Aye, quite a simple game. Bit good fun anyway. Like this next one, I've done various events. This is called Pub Games, and it's obviously based on games which you play in the pub. Although I don't think arm wrestling was one of them. This is it billiards, I think it was. Now this is on the Amstrad. All the pub games I'm going to show you are on the Amstrad. Given there was about, I don't know, 4 or 5 mini games, you don't expect it to be particularly deep, you know, each game. It looks like it's only 2-player, this one, I think. I mean, why is it leaving whites? I've got no idea. I have no idea why all these whites have appeared. Basically move the cue to kind of aim. Yeah, I'm really not sure what I'm doing here. Billiards isn't a game I've ever really played before. Billiards, I always thought billiards was the 3 balls. So I don't know, it's obviously a version of it. So that was billiards in the pub games, and this one is obviously darts. Again, on the Amstrad. And it's a kind of moving, constantly moving hand. And you've got to try and time it just right. Oh, what was that, double top? The only game I liked dart wise on the computer was 180. That was actually a really good budget game. Once you've sussed out the timing of these games, then they get easier. Again, it looks like it's only 2-player. There doesn't appear to be any sort of artificial intelligence. This game did come out on the other 8 bits, certainly the Spectrum and the C64. $105, that'll do it. Oh, nice. See, I'm starting to get the hang of it. You've got to aim quite low because the dart kind of goes up pretty high. Never played this back in the day, but quite good fun, I suppose. So that's pub games, and lastly we'll feature Dominoes. I like Dominoes. I used to play Dominoes against my granny. It's not a game that I'd particularly want to play against a computer. It's like any board game, you know, Monopoly. I would never really want to play it against a computer. But I suppose if you've not got any pals and you really want to play Dominoes, then why not? Almost a complete lack of sound for this, but then what sound are you going to have for a game of Dominoes? If this came out in the 16-bit, they would have probably had some sort of pub noise, you know, people talking, a bit like the Team 17 arcade pool. You had a kind of pub sort of background ambience sound, which is quite good. So that was Dominoes and pub games, and that was in the Amstrad. Next one, this is Rascal. And this is
is on the Commodore 64. Kind of a Defender type thing. Not bad graphics. Scrolling's okay. Yeah, you look at all these games now, they're very simplistic, you know, but you need to understand these were the very first batch of games. This was a completely new hobby to us, and so just being able to play any video game at all, no matter how bad it was very exciting indeed. Sound effects, not bad at all actually. Very Lamasoft sound effects, I think. I'm sure there was a bit of plagiarism back in the day, people pinching each other's sound effects and whatnot. I always remember was that Jeff Minter came up with a font which he used, was it Attack the Mutant Camels I think it was. He kind of came up with his own font, and that font was ripped off and appeared in quite a few games. But back then it would have been very, very difficult to really prove that you'd stolen somebody else's code. Yes, that's Rascal, not a bad little shoot 'em up. Next one, Rocket Roger. I was going to say Rocket Ranger, Rocket Roger. Never ever played it. I always remember the cover for it. Kaboom. Sort of a kind of open sandbox game, jetpacky type game. Don't know what the idea of the game is. I always liked games like this that you could explore, because you kind of felt like, you know, the longer you played it, it was quite interesting to, you know, discover different areas and that kind of stuff. You got to pick up something. Guessing you need to avoid what look like volcanoes, yep, erupting, I think you do. You see, one little thing that you'll notice that's really evident in this game is the tiny, tiny little play area. I mean, the play area is, well, it's I would say it's exactly half the screen size, because he's got all the other stuff taking up the bottom half. Now I wonder if that was deliberate to kind of keep the speed up or something. I'm not too sure, but quite a few games did do that. So that was Rocket Roger on the C64. Next one, Show Jumping, and this is on the Spectrum. This one was released in 1986. Qualify for the next course. You've got to love the Spectrum graphics. It's actually quite playable, I've got to say. Considering I've never played it before, it's actually quite playable. I've managed to clear, well, maybe not now, but clear the first three fences there without any problem. Right, I need to back up and give it another go. Come on! Right, okay, that is Show Jumping. Right, this next one is Shoot 'em Up. Again, it's on the this is on the C64. Bit of parallax scrolling going on. Now, are they supposed to be Sir Clive Sinclair heads? I think they might be. Yeah, it certainly is. Uncle Clive is in town. That was the kind of childish things that software companies did back then. The C64 and Spectrum were bitter rivals and even extended into the games. I don't remember there being quite so much Commodore 64 bashing, but there was a few games. I mean, in Super Pipeline 2, I think it was, there's a little cutscene with a guy driving a C5 and he gets pummeled with a big mallet. Nowadays you just don't get that kind of rivalry. It was all friendly and it made it good fun. Basically whatever computer you had was the best, you know, and you were always really jealous if your mate who had the Spectrum, a new game came out that, you know, your computer couldn't really do. So that is Shoot 'em Up. Right, next one is Son of Blagger, and this is on the C64, and again this was programmed by Tony Crowther. I did play this one quite a lot back in the day and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously the sequel to Blagger, the original Blagger, kinda two completely different games. I mean, they're both platform games, as you'll see later on when I look at Blagger, but totally different. This type of game was very popular sort of back in the sort of early days of computers. These open sort of levels, you had to jump about and collect things. Again, the one thing that you see here is the actual the play area is very, very small. It's only, is it even? I don't think it's even quite half the size of the normal screen. I don't know why they do that. Is it just because it's easier? It's only shifting sort of half the screen about rather than the full thing. I don't know, because there's really nothing down there. I mean, Son of Blagger, it's got the job title, it's got the game title, tells you you're using a joystick, you've got score, it's even got Tony Crowther's name at the bottom. I think they could have quite easily just done away with that, had this score. I mean, this game probably isn't even about scoring, it's all about exploration, but it's a great fun little game. Don't think it was ported to anything else. So yeah, that is Son of Blagger, and that was in the C64. Next up is Table Soccer on the Commodore 64. Now, I can't really think of a more pointless game than Table Soccer on a computer. But you know what? Everything went. There's computer games for absolutely everything. Not the easiest to play. The whole point of playing these games for real is being able to spin the thing round, and you completely lose it using a joystick. It's not actually the easiest game to play. Oh, is it 2 players? Right, I think, you know what, it's set to 2 players, so we'll need to move on. That was Table Soccer. Next is another Tony Crowther game, and this is called Trap. And this was Tony Crowther's attempt at a shoot 'em up. Now, I always remember in the adverts, he basically said that he wanted to make a game that he wanted to play, and Trap was that game. I remember playing it at the time. Honestly, I wasn't overly impressed, but we'll give it a go and see what it's like. It's quite simply a very, very hideous looking... Is that your score at the side? I don't know, it's hard to tell, because looking at that, I've not scored any points. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not convinced. Not one of Tony Crowther's better games, I wouldn't think. Though possibly, if I get past this level, it's going to move on to something a bit more exciting. I mean, he's kind of going for quite nice graphics. A bit blocky, but not really my thing, I must admit. Yeah, overlaid, not impressed with that one. That is a trap. That's in the C64. Right, again, sticking with the Commodore 64 now. I'm not being biased, but there were so many more games that came out in the C64, so that's why there's more. This one's called Fortran. Now you play the part of what looks like, I don't know. Now correct me if I'm wrong, these little yellow sprites look like one of the levels out of Revenge of the Mutant Camels. You can't bounce about. I'm assuming it's a planet of some sort. I was going to say it's a bit like Tempest, but yeah. And again, please don't criticise and say, you should have read the instructions. Oh, you need to read the instructions. I know I need to read the instructions, but when you're trying to look at, I don't know, 30 games, I simply don't have the time to do it. So I just play them straight off the bat and see how far I get. Yeah, it's quite a dull game, that is Fortran. Again, still with the C64. This is Water Ski 3D. I remember seeing adverts for this and I was always quite intrigued to try it, and this is the very, very first time I've actually played it. Not bad feeling the movement actually. Quite blocky graphics, but you know what, it's the Commodore 64. I don't know if I should be avoiding these. Are these ramps that you jump over? I'm really not too sure. And Jaws has just killed me. Aye, okay, not overly impressed. That's Water Ski 3D. Now we're hopefully getting into some better games here. This is Who Dares Wins, written by Steve Evans, who I know is a very, very competent programmer. Now I do feature Who Dares Wins 2. I wasn't sure what the difference was. I think there's just some extra levels in the second one. Now this game did come out. I'm sure this game came out as Who Dares Wins just before Commando was released by Elite. Now Elite weren't very happy the fact that Alligator had they had paid for the license Commando, and yet Alligator had shamefully just released a game that, let's be honest, is Commando. So I believe they took out an injunction stopping Alligata Software releasing Who Dares Wins, and I think that's where Who Dares Wins 2 came out. Though quite why that would be any different from this game, I'm not too sure, but quite a competent little clone of Commando. I still prefer the original Commando by Elite. Yeah, it may not be as good looking whatever, but it just feels more arcadey. Although maybe if you had the Commando theme tune to this game, it might feel better, I don't know. Because to me that was what really made the game. The graphics were nice. I mean, like I said, a lot of people reckon this is the best Commando game you can get on the C64, well at least the sequel is anyway. With this one you hold down the fire button to throw the grenade, whereas with the Elite game Commando you had to press the spacebar. So yeah, that is Who Dares Wins. Now this is Who Dares Wins 2, and you see if you can spot any difference. Levels slightly different. The colour of your character's a wee bit different. There's a few more extras, yeah, you get kind of drop ammunition. And I'm sure there's also a plane in this one as well, that flies overhead. Poor little guy's just been shot in the head. Ah, there's the plane, yeah. Oops, sorry mate. But yeah, technically this is probably the better game from Commando. Less flickering, graphics probably look a bit better. I think there's just a bit more in this game. But like I says, I think Commando, a big part of the reason I played Commando in the C64 was just for the absolute stonking Rob Hubbard track. It really made you want to play it. Hey! It's interesting, they never actually made any of these games two-player. I mean, how difficult would it have been to have had a second player play these? I know the arcade Commando never had it, but this technically is not Commando, so you know that would earn them a few brownie points making this simultaneous two-player. But there's a bit more variety in this one as well compared to Commando, I think. Whee! Don't fall in the water. So yeah, all in all, it's a very, very competent Commando game, and you know, probably better than, you know, the Elite game. Although I still prefer that one just for the music. So that is Who Dares Wins 2. Right, moving away from the C64, this is Adaptable on the Atari ST. And this is a shameful, talking about rip-offs, this is a shameful rip-off of Arkanoid. Slightly different, well, obviously bat and ball, you do get extra weapons and that kind of stuff. You can see there the bricks actually scroll towards you. I think this also came out for the, certainly came out for the C64, certainly came out for the Commodore Amiga, I think, did it? But yeah, Arkanoid came out and suddenly there was an influx of Arkanoid clones, because that's what kind of happened. You see in this game you've got a little a sort of safety net at the back. It's kind of bizarre, I don't quite get the relevance of traffic. No idea. I don't know if, is it game over when the bricks hit the bottom of the screen? I'm really not quite too sure. Yeah, anyway, that's Adaptable. Quite a nice little Arkanoid clone for the C64. This next one is called Aztec Tomb Adventure. Now, I hate these kind of games with passion, I really do. You can see there, I mean, I think we couldn't even call this a graphic adventure because it's basically using computer-defined graphics. I'm in a dining room. Yeah. But these kind of games were hugely popular, they really were, but they weren't my cup of tea at all. I can see bed draw. Was that drawer supposed to be? I have no idea and I don't really care.
Yeah, Aztec Tomb Adventure apparently. Right, sticking with I was going to say this is a text adventure. This is not a text adventure. This is called Balloon Rescue. Again, this is on the C64. Kinda a wee bit like Lunar Lander. I assume you've got to try and pick up whatever it is you're picking up. That'll be the first level completed then. Basically you can thrust left and right and upwards. Obviously you've got to try and avoid hitting the walls. Or the ground. Easier said than done. Yeah, there's a lot of love for 8-bit machines, you know, 8-bit software, and I'm no different. I do enjoy a lot of these games, but I would probably say that the better games on the 8-bit machines were far outweighed by the poor games. I mean, there was a lot of games that were stuff like this, that when you look at them now you realise just how kind of basic and crap they were. But, you know what, that was Balloon Rescue. Right, next up is Bat Attack. Again on the Commodore 64. Wow, this is obviously again by Tony Crowther. This is, I would say this is his take on Galaxian. Even got the same graphics, albeit slightly chunkier looking. Whoa, avoid the giant pineapple ring. Game over. Okay, let's go for another shot. There was never really a good Galaxian game in the C64. I mean, probably the closest kind of game that you could have played was Galaxy by Kingsoft, I think it was. So that was more like Galaga. There was one Galaxian game called, oh, what was it? Galaxian, I think it was called actually, and it was by a company called Solarsoft or Solar Software, I think it was. But the graphics were a bit too big and chunky, so although it kinda looked like the arcade, it was just, it played differently. I assume you've got to try and avoid these. Anyway, that is Bat Attack. Again on the Commodore 64, this is Battle Stations. You can tell it's got decent enough music, which means it's probably a more up-to-date game. Don't know when it came out. Right, what am I trying to do here? Alright, okay, alright, I'm a gun, I'm assuming. Alright, okay, a sort of pseudo 3D shooter. Quite nice graphics, I must admit. Alright, okay, there's a radar I should be using, I think. The thing about a lot of these games now, when you play them, you realise just how basic they were. I don't mean they were running basic, literally how they were quite shallow games, but you know, what do you expect from a computer with something like 64K in there. So yeah, that's Battle Stations. Next one is the game I mentioned earlier. This is Blagger. Again, this is by Tony Crowther, and again he's made the screen really small. I have been trying to get a hold of Tony Crowther to do one of my They Did What, not They Did What, blimey it's only an interview, the guy, but he doesn't, he's never responded to any of the messages I've sent him. But I'd like to know why why the screens on all these games were very, very small. The play area itself was always very small. This game is quite clearly influenced by Manic Miner. I did quite like playing this game, just because I was a fan of Manic Miner, and I thought this was actually pretty good. Apparently the guy you're playing he's carrying a bag of swag. You can see he's got a bag slung over his shoulder. I always thought it looked like a snowman. Even now it still looks more like a snowman than a guy carrying a bag, but maybe that's just me. This was ported, I don't know if it's ported to Spectrum, but I certainly remember playing it on the Amstrad. My mate had that. I think I probably preferred the Amstrad version of this actually. Yeah, it's even got the same game mechanics with the sort of the disappearing floor and the little conveyor belts and stuff. I'm not quite sure of the relevance of the Lonesome Pine tune when you die. No idea. Don't think I ever got particularly far in the game. Damn it. Anyway, that's Blagger. Again on the C64, and again sticking with Blagger on the C64, this is Blagger Goes to Hollywood. Quite an interesting concept. I'm going to kind of stop talking because it's based on a movie scenes. Each screen has got a different well-known character. I mean, here's Batman, and you'll also get a wee bit of the tune playing as well. But again, what's going on with the screen size? Look at it. Don't know who that's meant yet. The werewolf, Laurel and Hardy. Who the hell is that? Looks like Captain Caveman. Robin Hood. Is that Jaws? Fantastic. Yeah, that's Blagger Goes to Hollywood. Quite a novel little game. Right, this next one, this is the first game in Amstrad I think we're looking at. This is called Boy Racer. Therefore you'll drive about with no insurance, driving about 90 miles an hour in a 30. Player 1 has chickened out once again. Ah, so it's basically a Spy Hunter, I think. Nice graphics, though the scrolling's a bit pants. We'll give it one more shot. I do like making these videos and I do like playing these games, and sometimes it's when you play them you realise how primitive they were, and it makes you appreciate modern games a bit more. There's not many 8-bit games that I actually will sit and play, but you know what, they're all part of nostalgia, they're all part of the history of this hobby. If it wasn't for these games getting made, we wouldn't be playing the PlayStation 4 or any of these things. Tanks or something? Yeah, that's Boy Racer, and that is on the Amstrad.
So moving on, let's take a look at something else. This is Brands Deluxe it's called. It's got that really ugly Commodore 64 font. It looks like it's going to be keys only. Yeah, back in the day somebody would pay top dollar for a game like this. Alright, it's night time now. I've actually got a, it's an LED handheld that's kind of similar to this. I think that's probably more fun actually. Right, okay, let's move on swiftly. That was Brands Hatch. Right, another Tony Crowder game. You can see he had quite a few games for this. This is called, what is it called? The Bug Blaster. I think we know what game this is based on. Big Fanny Centipede. The one that I used to play back in the day was called Exterminator, which was published by a company called Alligata Software. I used to love that game. This isn't too bad actually. I just wonder why arcade games insisted on changing colour. The background screen used to change quite a lot. Obviously the arcade Centipede. Did these mushrooms just move down a level? I think they did. Yeah, they obviously used a mouse, not a mouse, they used a trackball. Not bad actually, that's Bug Blaster on the C64. Right, this is Cyrus 2 on the Spectrum. Chess games were massively popular in the very, very early days of the computer. Right, I'm just playing a demo here, I don't see any point in me trying to play a game. I mean, it's chess. Graphics look alright. I think we could have probably done away with the sound effects. Hopefully there's an option to turn off that noise, because it doesn't add anything to the game at all and it just serves to be quite annoying. Oh, he's thinking now. Yeah, that's Cyrus 2. Next one, this is called Deep Trouble. Yeah, so many of these games had famous classical tunes because, like I said, they were completely out of copyright. There was no, I was going to say patent. Basically, you could use the music and nobody was going to sue you. So it looks like you're playing a guy, a little diver. He's got his little, what do you call it? Not aqualung. Anyway, yeah, he's got to dive for, looks like brown sugar cubes or something you're picking up. I've got no idea. There's always something quite addictive about games like this. It's not particularly spectacular, but the challenge was always quite a good thing with all of these games. And this one's no different.
let me die. Ooh. Ah, right, there's still one up there, and you can get that presumably, and that'll open the gate, is it? There's another one. Ah, fucker. Anyway, that's enough of that one. Right, this next one, this is called Defend or Die, and this is on the Amstrad. Now, this was programmed by Steve Evans, who did Guardian on the C64, which we'll see later on, and it's a very, very, very good, not replica, a very, very good version of Defender. If you really play this game properly, you want to use keys. That's how these games should be played. You can use a joystick in Defender, but you're missing the point. But this is actually really nice. The colour palette in Amstrad really makes it. It does look very, very arcade-like. Yeah, that is very nice indeed. That's Defend or Die. It says that was an Amstrad. Sticking with Amstrad, this is called Doppelganger. No idea about this one. I was going to say why is there two, but presumably one's your Doppelganger. 'Quite nice colourful graphics. Is that a large hole? I think it is. It's one of these optical illusions. It looks like a big pyramid pointing down the way, but it also looks like a big hole. I think it's supposed to be the latter, actually. Complete lack of any sound, it would appear. Come on, it doesn't really seem to be controlling too well. Ah, right, okay, I've just kind of swapped over to the... So it's a bit like Head Over Heels, where you kind of flick between the two characters. So presumably you've got to kind of try and work together to escape the castle. I don't know. There's quite a few of these sort of pseudo 3D games for the Amstrad. Can't remember the names of any, but I can certainly remember one. Was it Generation X? Was it? I can't remember. No, can't remember. But the Amstrad was pretty good at these kind of games. Bit sparse. I'm not seeing any baddies so far. Alright, it looks like I've died. Right, and the only sound appears to be when you're on the title screen. But man, that looks alright. That's Doppelganger. Right, next one. This is one of my favourite Alligator games. And this is Eagle Empire on the C64. This is a really, really good version of Phoenix. I did do a sort of a comparison video a while back, and I featured this, and I thought this was an excellent game, and I can't remember who it was. Somebody didn't think it was, but I think it's excellent. Yeah, it's not arcade perfect, but it does give the feeling and flavour of the arcade one, and the difficulty. Again, this was programmed by Steve Evans, who was a bit of a good programmer. He was able to really get games to kind of look arcade-like. Obviously, the C64 screen is landscape, whereas vertical shooters would always be kind of horizontal. So the aspect ratio of a C64 or indeed any home computer doesn't really lend itself that well to vertical shooters, but this does a pretty good version. Even the sound effects as well are pretty good. Yeah, that's Eagle Empire, and that is a Phoenix clone on the C64. Next one, talking of clones, this is Frog 64. There was a lot of the early games on the Commodore 64 and they always put 64 at the end of it. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because it's a Commodore 64, but yeah. This is, obviously it's a shameful rip-off of Frogger. This was back in the day when you could just plagiarise companies' ideas and nobody really cared. Again, programmed by Tony Crowther. I didn't actually realise just how many games he wrote for Alligator. Got to say, it's a pretty difficult Frogger clone considering this is the very first level. The traffic is moving pretty quick and there's not really any let up at all. Right. Watch the snake. Right, okay, that's Frog 64. That was in the C64. This is the game I was telling you about. This is a Guardian by Steve Evans. This is a clone of Defender, and a very, very good one. But again, you really want to play it using keys, which you could do. But if you've ever played Defender, you'll know just how difficult a game it is. But to really get the proper experience, you've got to use buttons. Using a joystick like I'm doing here just now, you're missing the point of the game. I had a mate who was a absolute massive Defender fan, and when I showed him this, he thought this was amazing. If you shoot the baddies when they're holding one of the hostages, you can actually fly and pick up the human being, and that gives you a kind of bonus when you drop him back down again. Yeah, lovely game that. Definitely worth persevering with. That is Guardian. Next one, Haunted House by Tony Crowther. Again, it's on the C64. You know what? I remember this game. The name didn't sound familiar, but I absolutely do remember playing this back in the day. You play the part of a ghost. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to do here. Are you trying to catch up with the wee guy? Yeah, using a 360 controller isn't ideal. You really want to have a proper old school joystick for something like this.
I do remember playing this. Right, last go. Right, okay, yeah, Haunted House. Yep, again on the C64. Right, this next one is on the Spectrum. Now, I'm just waiting to see the name of the game. It's obviously it's an arcade, it's a text adventure. It's called Here Comes the Sun, and is it based on well, no, I was going to say Here Comes the Sun, based on the Undertones song. It's Here Comes the Summer. Yeah, it's an adventure game. Not a game that I've got any interest in at all. But you know what, these games are massively popular, especially the text only ones. Visible exits are east-west. You see an acoustic door. The problem with these early adventure games is the actual, you know, the parser was very, very, very limited. Oh. Yeah. This was what we used to play back in 1984. So next time you're complaining about that mobile app or a game in your PlayStation 4 costing £5, just look at this shite that we had to put up with. Yeah. Pretty woeful if you ask me, but then I'm not a big fan of these kind of games. So that is Here Comes the Sun, and that was on the Spectrum. Right, this next one, I don't know if you noticed that there, it's a game called Hyper Circuit. Now it's programmed by a guy called Chris Butler. He did the, what would you call it? He did Space Harrier on the C64. Which, all things considered, was actually quite a competent game. Quite sure of the actual aim of the game, almost like I can shoot stuff. Dang. Technically it's quite nice smooth scrolling. What kind of game that I would have played back in the day, but I don't recall. I think I've heard of it, but I don't recall actually ever playing it until now. There's almost an aim to it. Do you move on to the second level? Is there some kind of big thing I've got to destroy or something? I can't actually see. don't know. But anyway, that's not bad. That's Hyper Circuit. Right, this next one is Indoor Bowling. And this is on the Spectrum. Now, wait a minute. I don't know whether this is part of... Is this part of the pub games? I'm not quite sure. See, they come up as separate games in this collection thing that I've got. I'm guessing this might be another event on the pub games thing. We did look at some of the games earlier on Amstrad. Again, quite simplistic, but you know, hey, you're getting 5 mini games for your money, so what are you complaining about? Yeah, I couldn't imagine them releasing this as a standalone game. You would get pretty bored pretty damn quick. Again, completely devoid of any sound. I mean, surely once you actually suss out the sweet spot, exactly where you want to hit them, you could just keep replicating it. Yeah, Indoor Bowling, that was on the Spectrum. Now, moving from one obscure game to an even more obscure game is How About Fishing on the Spectrum. This is Jack Charlton's Match Fishing. Now, he is obviously he was the brother of Bobby Charlton, who played for England in the World Cup apparently. And he was a bit of a fisherman. Yeah, so here we go. You're in a small piece of land jutting out into the lake. To your right there are lots of lily pads, blah 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 blah. I can't even begin to imagine how this game's going to work. Before you do that, does anyone... Oh, I didn't even see what that said there. Right, so my fishing rod is a ledger apparently. My reel is a centre pin and the bait is a maggot. Line strength, no idea. Fishing is not one of these things I've ever been interested in actually trying. Please all take a seat around the computer with all hands well away from the keyboard. You will be shown a picture of the fishing area with all the pages marked out. When your peg number flashes, it means that you have a bite. You must press the equivalent number key on the keyboard to strike. If you're quick, you will get the chance to catch the fish by pressing space. Really? So this is a game? You just basically sit and watch the screen and wait for a number to flash. Oh, number 2. Was I too slow? I've got no idea. Yeah. That was quite literally the amount of time with nothing happening on the screen. Oh, here we go. We have a bite, possibly. Here we go again, this time. Brace yourself, man, brace yourself. Go! Hey! I've landed a tench, weighing a pound. Yeah, that's Jack Charlton's fishing. Right, next up, this is Kettle. This is again one of Tony Crowther's later games. I remember seeing this again, playing it at the time, and I wasn't really a fan of it. You kinda like to go for these shaded graphics. I'm not overly sure if it actually works. Again, what's going on with the tiny little play area? I never really realised about Tony Crowther's games. Virtually all of his games had a very small play area, with the second half of the screen being taken up for score. I mean, there is no reason for that at all, other than I'm thinking he maybe wasn't able to get the screen to scroll quite as well. I don't know.
So, hey, listen guys, that is the last game. There's been quite a few. I would say the majority of them are pretty rubbish, but there's one or two gems in there. There's Who Dares Wins, there's Guardian, there's Defend or Die in Amstrad, amongst a few other ones. But yeah, Alligator will always have a place in my heart, because I mean, stuff like Trap, oh, what was it called again? The one where you've got to, can't remember what it's called. Doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, it's a company that I did play a lot of the early games, and you know, these obviously, if it wasn't for these games, we wouldn't be playing the games that we've got now on our sort of current generation consoles. But listen, if there's a company you'd like to see me do one of these, They Did What, please just put the comment below and I shall think about it. And finally guys, as always, thank you very much for watching.